Oh, hey there. How's it going? Let me do that thing that I do with the chat. Yo. Chatta-ma-tat. Matata. Chatta-ma-rata. Parappa the rappa. Cool. That's all working. Message me in the chat if you want to say something. This is the game development stream we're doing here. I think I'm going to try something different. Had enough times that I came on the stream to show everybody what an impressive game developer I was and how smart I was at using Unity. What a good programmer I was. And then I'd get tripped up on the easiest shit. So it goes. So I've been doing homework, guys. Homework, okay? What did I do? Game kit. 2D game kit. Our little SUMO game that we got, right? This little thing. Remember this thing? When you only stream once a week, I feel like I forget most of the shit I did last week. What did I even do last week? Did I move anything to done last week? Probably the sarcastic early access banner. There it is. Early access. So this is the game we're working on. SUMO. So you can wail on this guy over and over again, which loses any entertainment value it had after like the first throw. And this is a rough approximation of what I have in mind for the game. Rough approximation, indeed. But it's something. In in real sumo wrestling, it's not like the first person to do a slap wins and then the other guy teleports off the stage or out of the ring. They get into it, like they lock up and then they do this dance all around the ring. Sometimes one of the guys gets overpowered, other times they're pretty evenly matched. Sometimes the fight is just like a wha-boom crash and then the guy gets wrecked. That happens sometimes. And then sometimes you'll just get like you'll charge at a guy and then he'll be better than you and just slap you to the side all gangster like, and then you're like, what I lost, silly me. So I plan on adding those aspects to the game, and I plan on the game being multiplayer. I do plan on the game being multiplayer and not just one-on-one matches. It's going to be a sumo extravaganza. Last sumo standing wins. It's going to be epic. And I think with every sumo wrestler you defeat, the fatter you get and the harder you get to push around. But the slower you move should be a good mechanic. We'll have fun with that. Looked at ways to make the character get fatter. Seems like there's some approaches with shaders. That would be kind of easy. Been looking at blend shapes, where you animate like the positions of the vertices. You don't necessarily animate the bones. Like all these animations that you see these guys doing are me rotating bones in the model that therefore move the vertices of the model. I don't know how blend shapes work. I have to see. It's not what I'm working on right now. What am I working on right now? Hook up player controls to the sumo wrestler. So I'm playing as the blue guy right now. I just lost to myself. That's embarrassing. I'm playing as the blue guy, and like I'm holding left, I'm holding right, I'm holding up, I'm holding down, up left, down right. See how you like, he has these weird like stutterings. That's because I just ganked the ThirdPerson controller from Unity. So if you install the standard assets package and you just want to start using it, and you drop in the third person character controller prefab, you get the model that they have named Ethan. It's this scrawny little guy, futuristic looking kind of preppy guy. And I guess I don't need to just explain it. I can show you. And if you've been following along, you already know. You already saw that that's what I did. But that guy, he is driven primarily by his animations. And me, being a solo dev, I'm focusing on gameplay mechanic. I can make a good gameplay mechanic. As one person, it's going to take me a long time to provide really good graphics and really good fluid animations. Where if I can just provide a mechanic, I can get a lot of mileage out of that. So that's where my focus is going to be. But this is the default, where is he? Character third person controller. Here he is. He's got himself an animator. Looks like so. And while the character is on the ground, they have all these animations. Human idle. Human stand quarter turn. Half turn. Quarter turn. Half turn. Walk. Is there a run? Here's run. Run right sharp. And he just kind of whoop, 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 run around in a circle. And in game, you have this relatively intelligent looking character that, like, well, I said relatively intelligent, so I don't need to defend it too much. He should be like cutting. He doesn't do a cut. He just kind of. That is extra silly looking. That'd be a fun gif. Even jump. How is jump modeled? Jump is based on my velocity, I think. See how my velocity is positive, and then it goes negative. Positive on the way up, then it goes 0 when I pause in midair, and then it gets to negative as gravity accelerates me downward. And they're blending these individual animations based on where my character is in the process. Anyway, this is kind of a long tangent from what I wanted to talk about. How did I even get on this subject? What I started to do last stream was to gut that third-person character controller, because I'm just going to provide like a couple simple animations. And I don't want free look. I think for the first version of the game, I'll have it kind of like Gears of War controls, where it's over the shoulder and you can kind of position yourself to face a target. And then facing a target will have importance in the game. If somebody shoves you from behind and you're not anticipating it, that you should get punished more for that than if you were A, simply facing them, B, facing them and charging at them, or did I get to B? Or C, doing a counter. Facing them and doing a counter. I don't think I should allow counters if someone's approaching you from behind. Though that might be pretty cool if you like grab their arm and flip them over. These big guys, they do that kind of stuff. They do some pretty cool acrobatics. It's pretty impressive. And even though the game was going to be multiplayer, I think I will start it off as just you mano y mano against the compooper. So right now Red is a very dumb AI. In fact, I don't think he even has a script on him. So he is AI-less. He is without a brain. But the idea is that I will be able to code up SUMOs that are timid, that try to avoid you, are aggressive, that'll bull rush you, sneaky, technical SUMO AIs that will sidestep you, counter you, etc. And since it's not going to be just one-on-one, and I'm going to have a lot of different people fighting each other, where the last sumo wins, I feel like I need the mechanic of the Battle Royale games that are out right now, where you have a reason to kind of move your ass. You can't just lollygag and play patty cake and evade. So I'm going to crap a little unicow into the game. Well, it won't be little. It'll be bigger than all the players. And that'll basically target the person who has the least amount of points. And then beat that person, and then target the next person, and then beat that person. So you have an incentive to hustle, because eventually everybody will fall to the unicow. Or they'll get the lead out and beat the last player and win. So I started looking at how to do AI. That was the main homework I had before streaming again, because I didn't want to sound like a chump. And there's a lot of approaches, a lot of tutorials on the web, finite state machines, behavior trees. What I looked at was this 2D game kit, pulled it down locally, dropped one of the enemies down, observed the code, and kind of figured out what was going on. Well, this sheet tells you what's going on too, so that's a good source. So I think I don't see any reason not to roll with what they provided in that solution for my AI solution. So that is what I'll be doing. And that is a relevant topic for today, because the third-person character controller that Unita gives you, where are you? Third person. Sploink. There he is. Well, I can't tell which one's which. Just kidding. There's Ethan. Right now, Ethan is controlled by me. So I press WASD and I run around, and since this character has the animations, it actually makes sense for him to move this way. But the way that they wrote their character controller is that there's a third-person character script that receives input from another script. So they decoupled the input into the controller from where the input was coming from. So maybe I should word that better. The input is decoupled from what handles the input. Whatever handles the input doesn't care where the input is coming from, whether the input is coming from an AI or whether the input is coming from a user with their mouse and keyboard or their joystick. So, for example, here is the third-person character controller. When it loads up. Load up, Buttercup. Load. Just do a sound check. I'm looking at my little OBS thingamabopper, and it looks like I'm coming in good. So that's... Ooh, I almost said that's Gucci. Gross. I gotta try not to talk like that. But what can I say? It's a fitting word for many situations. They have a third-person character controller. As long as you have a rigid body, capsule collider, and an animator, it will do the biz. So, as far as I can tell, can I collapse code in Visual Studio for Mac? I cannot. Can I browse functions? I can. So if you notice, they don't have an update method. They don't even have a fixed update, do they? So most of the scripts most people write in Unity, I would assume, have a start method and an update method. Theirs doesn't have an update method. All this thing cares about is processing input. So the inputs into moving this character are a direction to move the character in, presumably. I don't know if that's what this vector 3 actually is. They do a bunch of math with it. Whether or not the input is telling this class to crouch, whether or not it's telling it to jump. And it's a separate class that provides that input. So if I open up that script, this one has an update. And since the character is moved around by physics, they put physics-based movement in fixed update. You can read up on why they do it that way. So they say get access horizontal. That corresponds to A and D in WASD on the keyboard. V would be W and S. Crouch would be C. So they're getting input from the player. And they use the camera direction in conjunction with WASD to determine what direction the character is moving. So if the camera is facing forward and the player is holding S to go backward, the camera will remain facing that way, but the character will run at the camera. Can I just verify that? Maybe not in this scene because I didn't set it up this way, but go ahead and drop that third-person character controller into your scene and you will see what's up. Actually, that is only if they have a camera in the game. Yep. For camera relative. So they have a fallback if they don't want it to be driven by the camera. So I did homework and I got, didn't I just delete this guy? Did I say delete? I'll have to watch the tape and see what I actually did. I deleted what you saw here because I'm reworking it. And I added my dude. And the vector math is something that always takes me a while and makes me feel stupid. So I did some of that work ahead of time so I could have glorious, delicious content for my stream. Please let me know if that's what you want me to do. I don't know if people will tune in to watch me struggle through and learn things myself, or if it's better for me to learn things off stream and come back and kind of quickly go through what I learned. So this stream will probably be a blend of both because while I did figure out, I have a null pointer. Why does it has a null pointer coming from the game controller? Why are you sucking? Line 16. It's probably trying to find a player. No, it's trying to show the annoying banner prefab. Oh, did I delete the banner instead? Let's just fix this error because I don't know what the foo's going. You can't find a canvas. Does the canvas not? Enabled right now? There is no canvas. That must have been what I deleted. Let's just open the scene again. Looks like I don't need to review the tape because I deleted the effing canvas. There we go. Yeah, there you go. I was trying to find something else I learned when I looked through that 2D game dev kit from Unity was the way that I'm persisting things across scenes. I think I'm doing it stupid. They have code that whenever they have a static variable on the class that if you try to create another version of that class, it'll check and be like, oh, I'm already created. I'm not going to create another one. And that was the missing link from like a couple streams back where I kept instantiating multiple things that of that early access banner when I only wanted one. So I have a choice. I can fix that or I can just leave it as is. And since it's not in the scene view, a noob probably won't come in here and just remove it. They'll actually have to go and get into the code. So that's something. I'll just keep it the way it is. I want to get to work on these here controls. So this, standard assets, don't care. Programming, I'll keep that open. My Rikishi, keep him the way it is. This animation probably belongs in the animation folder. Let me just double check that moving that file didn't break it. Nope, still there. Still annoying people. Success. My drink is getting warm. Need a cold one. Okay. So how far did I get? I think I used a FreeLookCamera rig. Okay. And I positioned that so it would be like, somewhat over the character's shoulder. You know. And now that it's kind of looking, it's not looking over his shoulder, it's looking through his head. I mean, yes, you can see over his shoulders, but maybe the camera target is like an empty game object up here so that it actually does look over the shoulder. I don't know. Let's just try that real quick because I'm curious to see what it do. Let's rename this to over the shoulder target. Where is that? I want you to be up here. And I want you to be shifted. Schloink. Shifted. Probably right there is fine. Okay. Now my camera can target that instead. What did I call that thing? LMNO alphabet. There it is. And it's going way the hell over where I want it to be. I think that's because, by the way, before I get into that, Unity does have, the standard assets package does have guidelines on how to use the camera rig. So I think I set the height on the pivot, and that's why it's going higher than the person is. So what height? So if the desired height was 1.2 before, and now I raised it by 0.18, blah blah blah. That's about 1.2. So I can just say the pivot is at 0, and that of course is gonna just wreck before I get in the game. Now it's kind of looking over the shoulder a bit. Pretty satisfied with that. I think they have something in the guidelines though that say something like, for over the shoulder, you should move this. If you wanted to adjust the camera to be to one side of the target, you should adjust the X position value of the pivot object. Well, I'll be damned. I did the wrong thing. So I can get rid of this over the shoulder target. And then retarget the thing I was targeting before, which was the player. Or the Rikishi. Okay. And it said move the pivot position by an X value. 0.2. Sound good? Now, I don't like that my game view is totally jacked up right now, so I'm gonna redneck this thing a little bit. Maybe I can even parent. Is that totally going to screw up the rig? Let's see what it does. Oh, yeah, it screws it up. Oh, yes, it does. All right, let's not do that. Control Z. Control Z. Control Z. There we go. Everything's still gluten-free. It is still going way down. Is that because I changed the pivot back to the thing? Yeah, that's probably why. This is not what I wanted to work on right now. Gotta stay focused. So I moved the pivot, right? I don't know. It has this strange effect where it's like not level with the horizon anymore. I kind of like the way that it was before. But maybe this is more intense for the player. So we'll just keep it jacked like that. Is that really what it said? If you would like an over the shoulder, if you want the camera to be adjusted, you should adjust the X position value of the pivot. Okay. The camera MIG will move towards the target. The Y position for the height. The X position for the horizontal axis. Okay. Well, I did the I set the height, and now I set the horizontal position, so it's good to go. Oh, is it because I rotated it? Did I apply a rotation to it, and that's why it's totally hosed now? That could be it. Oh, it's better now. Yeah, that's because I was trying to get my scene view to look good. Or excuse me, the game view when I'm not in play mode to look good. I don't know what people do for that, to be honest. Looks like I'll just redneck it so that it's... I mean, I could prank myself and put it on his butt. It's a pleasant sight. All right. Moving on. So ultimately what I want to do is rotate the character. So like I'm looking left right now. I want the character to move left. I want him to rotate in place and look left. Okay? And when I rotate right, I want him to look right. And hopefully my resolution is good enough such that you can see I wrote some debug code to figure out if I drew a line from the camera through the player and then projected that line onto the floor so it shot straight, then I would be able to set the desired aim position of the player. So I'm setting the desired aim position of the player with my mouse right now. Conceivably, this green line could be a line pointing to the next target. The AI could be setting this desired aim position. And I might be able to code up that the SUMO controller has code that will rotate him towards the desired aim position, either instantaneously or at a certain pace. I have freedom to do that. So, first things first, let's rotate this guy in relationship to the camera. What comes before first thing first is let me show you the code to be able to draw this green line. And in fact, the first thing I was able to do was figure out how to draw the blue line. And the blue line is a lot like the red line, but it is that line that I said before, where it's a line from the camera straight through the player, straight through the ground. So it's not projected onto the ground plane. So it's less useful from a debugging perspective. That green line is really nice for me to see visually what input my script is receiving. So that's probably RikishiController. I don't need the guidelines. I don't need the old script. Let's keep those example ones around. I don't need the game controller. Don't need the scoreboard. Don't need that. Don't need that. Don't need that. Oh, and that 2D game kit had its own version of a screen fader. So one of those streams a while back where I spent a bunch of time trying to figure out how to fade to black. Inevitably, anything you're trying to do, somebody has already done it. You're just lucky if you can find it so you don't have to waste time duplicating their work. That time I was not so lucky, but next time, now I know where to look. So the first thing I tried was I was like, okay, vectors, right? What is the vector from my target to where the camera is? And I can use that to visualize a line from the camera to the target. Fair enough. Done that a bajillion times. And that's what that would do. But that's not what I wanted. I wanted a line through the player, representing a line from the camera to the target, and then through the target. And then I only wanted to see the part that was through the target. So I used super fancy brain power, and I flipped these two statements. And what that does is it basically draws the same vector but backwards, which is the effect that I wanted. That's how I got the blue line. And remember, the blue line was a literal straight line from the camera through the player, and then you could see it poking out of the ground. But I project that onto the ground plane. The ground plane, in my game, you can't walk on the walls, you can't go upstairs, you can't do any of this boo shit. So the ground plane is just vector 3 up in world space. And does that give me the green line? It might give me the green line, but it won't give me a consistent magnitude. It'll only give me the length of the vector, that blue line, how far it goes. I'll have a hard time explaining that, and frankly, I don't really think I need to. So I say I want to see a line that is 1 meter long, aiming in the direction that the character wants to point. And I accomplished that by figuring out what the angle was from that resulting camera line. And then I drew my ray that was this length, representing the forward of the character, 1 meter directly in front of the character. And then I applied the rotation from the camera ray, and then that's how I resulted with the green one. And I know it's not much, but that code is on the GitHubs if you wanted it. But let's actually rotate the dang character. So this script is just an input provider. Just an input provider. So all it needs to do is provide input. This is some code. My dog scared himself walking down the hall. I don't know why he does that. Well, I know why he does that. We keep something in front of the garbage so the dogs don't go in the garbage. But one time it fell on him, so now he's terrified. He's a 100-pound German Shepherd. Like, this dog has nothing to be afraid of. This measly little gate I put in front of the garbage terrifies him. Don't ask questions. So this is code that I saw in the existing character controller. Might be useful. This is how they rotate the player. Well, never mind. This is rotating a sprite. So this is not from the third-person character controller. But It's example code for saying, oh, hey, you have this thing, rotate it about the y-axis by a certain speed. Do it now! Ah! So let's do that. I'm scratching my head now, though, wondering what the input should be that gets passed. Should it be an angle? It should. I think I would pass my character an angle saying, hey, I want you to look 90 degrees to the right of what you're currently looking. Okay? And the character controller might say, well, I can only turn 25 degrees a second, so it's going to take me 90 divided by 25. Was that 3 point something seconds to get over there? That sounds reasonable. Or I can say, hey, this is your look at target. Look at it. That's probably the most quick and dirty way. Unity look at target. This script can be attached to the camera to make it continuously point to another target. And it just goes transform, look at, target. Is this in world? Yeah, world position, not local position. Which really shouldn't matter. It's going to rotate it anyway. Okay. So let's try the first version of this thing. Oh, and this was the super skinny version of the third person character controller. So the third person character controller is like 200 lines of code, and about 40 of them were questionably relevant to my use case. I will be updating a animator, but as you can see in itch.io, I already got, several of my animations down that I wanted already. So public void look at or set desired rotation. Set desired aim target. Target in world space. Oh, make a method, actually. Okay. And if I take their word for it, I should be able to say transform.lookAt target in world space. I already have a feeling I'm going to rewrite this to pass in an angle. Why are you blowing up? Let me just comment that out again. Okay. And I'm just going to have it look at the debug player aim ray. So in order to use this input controller, you need to have a RikishiController also on the game object. Why are you sucking? Type of does not exist in the current context. Well, it did in your other context, you lazy bum. Oh, type POF. That's why. Derp. You can say RikishiController equals get component RikishiController. Okay. Does my guy have both of those things? Beach ballin'. Yep, he has an Imprint Provider and a controller. So I'm going to make this guy look at the target. So I'm going to say, hey, every update, based on where the camera is, I want you to look at this thing. And if this makes him look at the ground, I'll be sad, but you can't always be a winner, right? Definitely makes him look at the ground and have convulsions. Let me just try something right quick. Maybe that will raise it to be the front of him. Okay, so instead of looking at the ground, oh, no, we're still looking at the ground. Oh, we actually might be looking at the ground because our character is physics enabled. Excuse me 1 second, I gotta sneeze. Ooh, my mic's got a mute. It's coming in handy. It is actually a PlayStation 3 microphone. You know how like popular streamers have like their setup on their Twitch stream? I have an Alienware computer with Turtle Beach headset and 5 8K monitors. I have a chair, a mesh task chair, and what appears to be a children's desk that I got at Target for a total of $100, which I think is too much even for those two things. This mic I've had since I was like a teenager, back when I played PS3. But I have a really good laptop. I do have a really good laptop. Probably not something most people would use for streaming, though. And in fact, it's been kind of a pain in the dick, too. I had to install a bunch of software just for you folks to be able to hear the audio that I hear coming out of my computer. So if you watch the videos of my earlier streams, I didn't have that set up yet. And the audio that you heard was the microphone of the computer picking up the microphone input. So that's why like the music sounded like it was underwater. And speaking of the music, I'm getting tired of trying to find music that I like that I won't get a copyright strike for. And I've covered this in past streams too, where like I find playlists that say, hey, this is royalty free, you can use this, and then it just turns out that in YouTube it's copyrighted. So screw it. This stream I'm just not listening to any music at all. I think if I ever get another pair of headphones, I would like to play music through my headphones that you guys can't hear, so you can listen to whatever music you want, but I still get to listen to music. The reason I don't have that now is because I have over-the-ear headphones only. My earbuds broke, and my PS4 mic. Right? I can't just wear this with over-the-ear headphones. Maybe I could. It would look pretty silly. And I'm not opposed to looking silly. Maybe it'll be worth a shot one day. But then I'd probably do like Spotify off of my phone. That's neither here nor there, though. That has nothing to do with the task at hand. So my little rotaty guy of doom has a case of the drunkenness, and I believe that's because he's unstable because his rotation is not frozen. Currently, I am okay if he rotates about the y-axis. If he spins like a little sumo ballerina, I think that's perfectly fine. But if he's falling over forward or falling over sideways, that's not right. So I'm going to freeze his rotation on these two axes. And I am just going to double checkity check what these people did. These people that are smarter than I. They do not freeze the rotation. I call bullshit on that one. Okay, they freeze the rotation in every direction. Why do they freeze the rotation in the y-axis? Hell if I know. And why do they set that in a script? Well, we're not in a position to ask questions today. So, is my guy rotating? If I take a break from looking at his succulent buns, does he rotate the way that I want? Haw! Haw! So, see that green line? It's always looking forward. It's kind of a nice effect that I can kind of look up and down too. This is about what I wanted. So, since the rotation is instantaneous, it might look a little cheap when you're playing against a computer and they are just like tracking you exactly. So I might either program some error into that or give them a maximum turn speed where that green arrow moves independently and then the character like is always rotating and always trying to catch up to that green arrow. Which is not an arrow, it's a ray. Sorry, I misspoke. That is pretty cool. See how I like whoop, 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 whoop. All right, so we got our little sumo master rotating. He's practically ready for the championship right now, I would say. Just kidding. Boy, would it be nice to have people to talk to either laugh at or groan at my jokes. It's okay. I'm not bitter about it. I'm not bitter about it at all. Might be time for more refreshments, though. I will leave you to the buns. Enjoy them. I'll be right back. I won't even bring up the intermission thing. Just give me a few seconds to go get myself some drink. And then I think we will actually like try to move the character around and then start adding back the features that we took away since the last stream. Because we used to be able to run around and push people, and now all we can do is turn. And that's not exactly forward progress. Anyway, see you in a bit. Yup. Yes, sir. Being weird. I was just thinking, what did they do in their third person AI script? How do they steer that guy around? They probably use the nav mesh. He's got some pretty wild things around him. Looking at my dude here. Oh yeah, they got a nav mesh agent. So you set the target on the AI controller. Okay, so you get a target. What do you do with it, Unity? Wow, this is only like 40 lines of code. Oh, this is my class. I'm looking at this one. Maybe I should stop drinking. Doesn't really seem like you need a private set, but might be a little overkill on the encapsulation. Clearly different people wrote the AI script versus the user script. No, because these are all private fields. Maybe not. Maybe not. Okay. Update rotation. Don't do it. Update position. True, true. Update positon. If target is nothing. Oh, never mind. If it equals something. Whoops, don't break their scripts. Tell the nav mesh that it should be running towards this thing. If the remaining distance is greater than the agent's stopping distance. Ooh. Tell the character to move. And use the desired velocity from the nav mesh agent. So they're not like the people writing the code to use this class aren't being like, okay, guy, you need to move 20 units to the left and 30 units to the front to get to this guy. They have a nav mesh component. I have done tutorials on the nav mesh, and I actually used it in a Ludum Dare project once. It was very nice. But I want and need are two different things. But I want to have dynamic playing fields. And they do have nav mesh baking at runtime. So I really should consider, I will consider using the nav mesh to do my work, to do my bidding. Because look how simple this code is. You tell it where to go and then it frickin' goes. That is really neat. I wonder if it is like the local desired velocity though. It must be. It wouldn't make sense in any other way. Cool. So what did we learn today, kids? Use the crap that other people have done. Anyway. So we're rotating our guy in a satisfactory way. Now I want to start moving this chubba bubba. How are we gonna do that? I'll stop saying that word. That was really weird. Convert the world relative move input vector into a local relative turn amount and forward amount required to head in the desired direction. Cool. We're not gonna do any of that. If you press W, you walk forward. If you press A, you walk to the left. So we'll probably use this same bit of code. Move equals vertical times forward plus horizontal times right. Okay. KKK. Na 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 na. KKK. Na 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 na. Shake your groove thing. Oh, KKK is like that cult that is racist. Never mind. Don't sing that song. That is bad. I can steal this. Steal. Steal it all the day. Steal it all the time. Come on. Yeah, I know you don't exist in the current context, but you will when I import you. No, you can't cry anymore because I imported you. There we go. So much crying. So this is if they don't have a camera, they just move it whatever. Otherwise, they move it relative to the camera forward is the scale. They remove the vertical component from the camera forward. Okay. Normalized. I can probably just gank this code too. I don't know what apply extra turn rotation does. I'm hesitant to use this code because I don't really understand what it's doing. And I do wonder if it has to do with the animations that they have in their class or on their model. Because their model might be actually rotating the character and moving the character. Anyway. That's the movement vector. Pose position. So instead of just using the world coordinates, I want to use the player coordinates. Alright, so I got myself a movement vector. And if my RikishiController can receive a move, one more thing to check is probably if they are using fixed update to do this, which they are. Shake your groove thing. Okay. Think, brain. Think. Whatever. We can just set his velocity to be that. There's conflicting information on the internet as to whether or not you should be modifying the whatchamacallit, the velocity directly. People say don't do it, but then like the Unity scripts, they're doing it. So, if they can do it, I can do it. So, do I have my rigid body? I do. I have a rigid body, but velocity equals. Now that's probably not going to work, but I've been staring at code for a long enough time that I earned a little SUMO butt time. Shake it for me, SUMO man. Are you moving? Even slightly? Even a little bit? No? Am I not passing it? No, I'm not. That will help. That will help. So now that I found the movement vector, pass that to the RikishiController. Rikishi move. Build. I think get access is going to return like 1 or 0. -1 or +1. I'm not even sure what it's going to return. Let's just see what happens. Is my character moving? Is he sliding? No. If I hold right, what happens? He like kind of moves. This is kind of working. It's working surprisingly well. The problem is that whenever I strafe, the camera has a lag. So he has this like, so if I just hold right, he has a radius, like a turn radius. Like, just shuffle to the right, my guy. Why are you bending this way? The camera's kind of floaty, right? Is that a good thing? I'm not sure that it is. Maximum turn speed. Okay, that was like the turn sensitivity of the camera. And that did not solve our... that did not solve this problem. So let's turn that back down. Oh, God. It saved like every little increment. Oh, okay. Back to normal. Turn speed is 0.1. Move speed is 1. Let's crank that up to, I don't know, 5. Huh? Oh, he's strafing. My guy is strafing. And he turns. Feels kind of glitchy, if I'm being honest with myself. Can I tell it to lock the cursor? Awesome. Oh. I was not expecting that to work as well as it did. You can't see my fingers, but I'm holding forward, I'm holding back, I'm holding left, I'm holding right. I'm looking left, I'm looking right, I'm looking up, I'm looking down. If I hold forward and I start moving the mouse, I kind of run in a circle. This could be a lot worse. This could be a lot. Let me tell you. Let me tell you how bad it could be. I mean, we could be flopping over on the ground like we were, right? Right? This is pretty good. This is pretty satisfactory. Let us save. Save project. It's awesome that we keep coming back to this SUMO butt. I love it. CD dev SUMO code. Oh, nope. Did I save everything? I have a habit of not saving everything. Save scenes. Save project. GA, GCA. Halfway decent. Controls. What's up, babe?
She still needs this.
Oh, is it dry?
No. But look what she did.
Is she bleeding?
Yes.
Kahlua.
This is why you need to remember
Ooh.
to unbutton it.
I did. Remember, I tried to stop her.
No, you didn't remember.
Well,
We have to hope she doesn't do it in her sleep.
I blame the dog.
I blame you.
Classic.
You didn't unbutton her. She is not capable of unbuttoning her.
When did she do it? Was she rubbing up against the couch?
No, I didn't see when she did it. I saw her when she came back downstairs. She's been out here hanging out with you.
She's been laying down.
Clearly not.
My dogs got into it and one got a staple. And because she had a pretty deep cut. And we have this cool little like diaper shirt that we put on her. The only thing is you got to remember to take it off when she goes outside to go potty. Because otherwise she pisses in her diaper. It's not a diaper, so it's not meant for pissing in. So she pisses on it and it's like if a person pissed their pants basically. Then we got to wash it. So we took it off and her little staple wound is bleeding a little bit. Kahlua, what are you doing, little girl? Come here.
She's with me.
Is the staple out?
No. She ripped it open.
I'm surprised. I didn't think that shirt was actually doing anything. Because it was never covering her wound. Kahlua, you big stupid dog. Poor girl. Go lay down. Poor puppy. Kahlua, if you're going to interrupt the stream, you have to interrupt it, right? Come here. Come here, Kahlua. Up. Up. There you go. This is my girl. Aw. There she is. That's a pretty girl. That's the mic. Yeah. That's a good girl. Okay, down you go. All right, let's finish the commit. Now that we've established that I'm a terrible puppy dad. Halfway decent. Character movement and turning with FreeLookCam and bad math. Seriously though, I thought I was gonna have to fight with this. So the movement is the player's forward vector in addition to their horizontal vector multiplied by the keys. I guess that isn't the dumbest thing. And then what did I do with it? I just set their velocity to be that. Cool. Cool. Let's give them like a movement speed, huh? Public, float, move speed. 1F. This is like the classic thing to do once you get something to work. Is make it parametric so that you can fiddle with it. Where's my guy? Here's his move speed, so let's do a test run. How long does it take me to walk the diameter of this thing? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's about right. It's 4 meters. 4.5 meters across. Took me about 5 seconds to cross it. It's nice when the math actually works. So if I'm twice as fast, I think I should be 3 times as fast. Even if I'm a big tubby boy, I should still be able to get across this thing pretty quick. Oh, now I'm hovering. Am I even riding on the ground anymore? Oh, no, I did touch the ground. Awesome. I fall ever so gracefully. Not the behavior that I want. I suppose I should leave the Y velocity untouched. And I think we saw a code that's what they were already doing, right? We preserve the existing Y part of the current velocity. And that's all there is to it. Move. Whoa. Move dot y equals rigid body velocity to y. Rigid body dot velocity equals that. Just to be more clear, and since I don't like code comments, private preserve delegate vertical velocity to physics engine. Actually, it's fine the way it is. I was going to put this into a method because it does kind of seem like, why is this there? But it's fine the way it is. I'm not going to complain. All right, now do I fall at a reasonable pace? Boop. I sure do. I sure do. And I can't jump back up anymore, which I instinctively try to do. Okay. Let's actually add the other features that the previous game had back into this. So let me make your prefab from this guy. This is a Rikishi player. We will be making a Rikishi bot. It will look a lot like the player.
What did you call it?
Rikishi.
That was Rikishi.
I think that's how people with Asian accents pronounce it. I probably shouldn't be pronouncing it like I have an Asian accent. You heard that in the videos too?
Yeah.
It's spelled Rikishi.
Doesn't mean that's how it's pronounced.
Well, I will wait until I have viewers to let me know that I'm saying it wrong.
The videos say that you're saying it wrong.
The videos say there, yeah, but there's no American people saying the word Rikishi.
Yeah.
And when they do, they say Rikishi. They're typically referring to the guy from WWE though. God, I really should just call them sumo wrestlers and get on with it. I feel like I'm appropriating Asian culture when I say Rikishi.
That's how it's pronounced. Pronounce it correctly.
All right. So where are we? We got a guy. It still takes him like 5 seconds to move across the ring. So I clearly did not persist that movement speed update. Nope. Oh my god, he's so fast. Why is he so fast? That's too fast. I thought 3 was a good number. Let's try 2. That's better. Still has that weirdness where he moves sideways on an arc because the camera is too slow to keep up with him. Let's fix that. That's lame sausage. Since we doubled the other one, let's double this one. See what happens. Much better. SUMO. Okay. Let's make them blue. Oh yeah. Let's put my guy back where he belonged in his rightful place. There we go. It must be centered exactly. Oh my god, I put the butt right in front of the camera. Oh, that's a happy accident. Okay. Back that up just a little bit. Okay. Shoom, 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 shoom. Zooming around. Looking extra awesome sauce. Save scenes. Save project. I actually have some work to do at my day job. So I think I'm actually going to call the stream. Sad days. What'd you get out of me? An hour and a half? Not even? Well, I'll just need to stream more often then. It's pretty good progress. Did I get to move anything to done? Probs not. Working on writing and hooking up player controls to the sumo wrestler. And that was what I didn't want. And that I want basic Gears of War controls. You know, we pretty much did get that part done. It's not animated, though. He doesn't have like a strafe animation, walk forward, walk backward. I'm going to make an executive decision and call it done. Now, whenever we can shove people and push the guy over again, that's when we'll call it done. That's what we'll do next stream. And then we will move on to either animations for the new controls or adding in a counter. Actually, we need to be able to fight somebody. We need to be able to fight somebody. So we'll finish this. All that's remaining besides animation separate task is to re-add the attack from the existing version of the game. So we can shove folks. Yeah, save it. Bonk. All right, y'alls. Have a good one. Adios. Till next time. Stay milky.